Hey, Chef Anthony here at Don's Appliances. I'm gonna go over the JennAir wall oven. I'm gonna go over some convection features. I'm gonna touch on the culinary center, kind of everything you need to get running on your wall oven or any JennAir product if it's a range with the culinary center and the convection modes. So, without further ado, let's turn this on, or turn it off. Let's turn it on. And let's go right to modes. Okay, so we're gonna hit upper oven here. And let's talk about some of these. Standard bake, that's your bottom bake element. That's always gonna be your standard in all these. Remote start, because this is a Wi-Fi enabled product. So now with the JennAir app, you can enable or disable, so you could program on your smart device or tablet and really send the recipe right to the oven, or really, make sure you can monitor the cooking process anywhere you get a Wi-Fi enabled signal. So this is really great for the tech customer or someone that's really busy around the house. You don't want to check the chicken, you can check it from your phone. You'll get a text alert when it's reached the desired temperature, or if there's someone in the house that really doesn't know how to cook, you could just send the recipe to them. They can really pop it right in the oven for you, okay? This next one we're going to talk about is the convert the recipe from convection. It gives you a pastry, a roast, a bake, and a broil. These are all great guidelines. This is going to turn your grandmother's recipe or your old school recipe from regular bake to convection. Usually in tendency it drops at 25 degrees or 25 minutes depending on what you're baking. Cookies are an Achilles heel in this one too. So let's talk about your regular cookies. It would be like bake at 350 for 12 to 15 minutes. Now in convection, it corrects it to 325 for 12 to 15 minutes. So this built-in app setting right here really helps you to make sure, when we're first using this oven, that we're using the right temperature, we're using the right settings, and it kind of picks it for you, okay? This is the Convect Bake Rapid Preheat. So this is a great setting for your oven. This is a new one as well. So this Rapid Preheat will make sure that you don't have to have your oven preheat. So if you need it in a flash, these are for convenience foods like chicken nuggets, chicken tenders, kind of anything in a bag in the freezer can kind of go in the middle of this oven. And what it's going to do is every 30 seconds, it's going to use a different heating source to heat up the oven gradually, which is amazing, so nothing burns and you're not really wasting any time. Is it something you could do with raw product or like chicken breast and things like that? I would say, in my opinion, no. This is a fully cooked item that really, is a prepared food, like a Hungry Man meal or something of that sort that comes out of the freezer and is ready to roll, okay? Convection bake is our lone standard here, so we're adding convection fan to the bake element. This is great for a cake, a pie, a tray of brownies, things like that. I notice I say a because I'm talking about singular things. Anytime there's more than one in this oven, we're gonna use true convection. I'm gonna open the oven door and show you. So the convection bake is really gonna fall right here. We're gonna use this bake element. So there's a hidden bake element under here. So picture this bake element heating up and that heat coming up and the convection fan flying through. That's really good for like a lasagna or a brownie to really get that crust on the bottom. Because think about a brownie pan. It's dense, it's thick, the batter's thick. We need to have the heat come from the top, convection fan to fly all the way through to make sure it bakes evenly. Same thing with a lasagna or a casserole, tuna noodle, you name it. That's really the great setting for it. Let's talk, our next one up on the list is convection broil. Now we can go all the way to 550 here, or we can drop it down. These newer model ovens come with a mirrored broiler element. So if you look at the broiler element, you see that shiny metal behind it, that's the mirror they call it. So what's gonna happen is that element's gonna heat up, the metal on the fan is gonna really gradually take that heat from left to right and kind of insulate it and make sure there's no cold spots in there. So picture your old school broiler element would just broil down. Now that mirror, it's really going to shield that heat, kind of make it from edge to edge, and we're going to bring the convection fan on. I use this one all the time to talk about, roasting Brussels sprouts or doing like a sheet pan of vegetables and things like that. Now, with that convection broil, it's gonna brown it and really get that good color, but the convection fan is gonna push that air through and cook it fully through. So if you've ever experienced broiling where it just broils and you burn something but it's still raw in the center, that's just regular broil. This is convection broil. It's really gonna take that third heat source, those convection fans, and push that air all the way through. It's another reason why, this is priced at what it is and kind of, makes it, a super oven, I like to call it. All right. Next on our list is convection roast. So you're gonna say, chef, what am I gonna do with convection roast? So that's all three heat sources. So that's your broiler element on the top, that's your bake element on the bottom, and that's your convection fan. So all three flying through. Think about, your thicker cuts, a Thanksgiving turkey, a baked ham, a roast, a tenderloin, prime rib, any of that sort that really needs heat on all sides. So that Thanksgiving turkey, for example, needs that broiler element to brown, needs that bake element to bring the heat up, needs that convection fan to make sure it browns evenly and cooks thoroughly. So this is a great one for, those heavier cuts of meat, things that are gonna take, a few hours to cook. So you're gonna see great speed, great efficiency, and great performance on this convection roast setting, okay? True convection, my best friend right here. So if you remember anything, it can be true convect, or depending on the make and model, it can be multi-convection or just plain convection. What that means is, that's true convection, that's pure European heat. That's, even heat distribution from top rack to bottom rack. So in my world, that means no broiler element, no bake element, convection fans, and that heat source pumping air all the way through to make sure this rack and this rack receive the same heat. Now, we talked about baking before. This is really where you want to do 3 racks of cookies, multi-cooking. You want to make a lasagna, breadsticks, a casserole, you're cooking, you're putting more than one item in here. So that's really where you're going to receive the best heat and the most capacity. So if you're cooking a lot, running a lot through, true convection is your best friend. I'm gonna cluster these together. So we're gonna talk about the convection slow roast, 4, 8, and 12 hours. We'll talk to them all three the same. You can go all the way up to, let me see here, 2 1/4, and you can go all the way down to 190. So this slow roast is for tougher cuts of meat, low and slow. It's kind of gonna mimic a crock pot setting, if you will. You know what I mean? And that's probably good to get that off the counter. But this low heat breaks down for a long time. I use the example of rack of ribs. So, rack of ribs, I'll season them, wrap them in foil, put them in here at 225 for 4 hours, and it slowly roasts them and breaks them down to their tender. So we can grill them or mark them or broil them and serve them. But this is a great, great aspect to do very low cooking. So if you have a recipe that specifically calls for, under 300, or what is it, 250 here, 2 1/4, if it calls for under 2 1/4, this is the ideal setting for you. And it gives you 2 prompts. You could do a 4, 8, or a 12 hour on this. So that's really nice, really ingenious. Thank you, JennAir, for that. Next one, scrolling down the list, is convection pastry. So this is really a great one. What happens here is the fan speed slows down in the back. The convection fan slows, so you get more volume out of your product. So if we're doing a specific baking item where we're using phyllo dough or spanakopita or something that needs to rise, you know what I mean? You need volume in puff pastry. Like even if you're doing frozen spanakopitas that have that flaky phyllo, you're gonna see a better performance on this setting because it really adjusts the airflow and the wind in your oven to really get more volume out of it. Convection pastry is a great item as well. Convection frozen pizza. This is a nice convenient item, convenience food item. So you can do a frozen pizza on here, but you can do a fresh pizza. And also this is a great setting to introduce that pizza stone, if you will. If you have that stone, it's sitting in your drawer somewhere and you're like, I never use it, this would be the setting to use it. So when the oven's cold, you put your stone in here, you'll hit that convection frozen pizza. You can go all the way up to 455 or 500 degrees. I say 450 is kind of my safe zone on this. So I would go convection pizza 450 and hit start. Put the pizza stone in, let it preheat. Once the oven comes up to temperature, that stone is gonna be nice and hot. You could have a pizza party, pop pizzas in there, but don't think about it just as pizzas. When that stone's hot, you can do baked Italian hoagies, grilled cheese, you can do salt caramel cookies on there, things like that. it all works well, but this is just another option to kind of give you more depth and more layers to using your oven just for, you know, baking and roasting. Now you can have a pizza party in here, or, you know, make it really dynamic. You could use a frozen pizza in here, or, you know, a pre-made pizza from the pizza store, and just pop it in and get great results. What's gonna happen though, is you're gonna use the broiler element right here on the top and the bake element. So you're gonna picture those two heat sources coming down at 400 or 450 degrees to really get you that crisp crust pizza. And that's really the difference. I mean, a lot of customers want to do a little bit of low temperature. Now we're at 450, this is a higher temperature. You're gonna see better performance and a better piece. So, that being said, let me just scroll through here, make sure I touched on all these. Okay, we're gonna go right here. So this one is probe cook. So there's an internal roast probe in all of these performance ovens. So it'll plug in right here on the side, and it'll go right into the protein. If you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, JennAir installs a food guide. So if we hit this food guide, you know, we can see beef is the highlighted one here. So medium rare, medium, and well done, 130, 150, and 165. They give you the internal temperatures for these already. So, you know, there's no guesswork in this. So you'll just really plug this into your protein, touch the desired doneness you want, and hit start and really walk through the prompts. You'll see this more in the culinary center, but the food probe is very nice and convenient. It's not even just for like big holiday meals. If you had, you know, pre-cooked catered items and you wanted to heat them up and make sure they were the internal temp you want, you could pop that in and really heat it to 165. That's kind of the safe zone. So you know where like all bacteria is killed and things like that, and you know it'll be hot all the way through. This is great to tie in with using our remote app that I touched on earlier. So with this food probe, you know, you can really adjust it on your app and monitor the cooking process from anywhere you get a Wi-Fi signal, and it'll give you a text alert saying, hey, you know, your chicken's done, or your salmon's ready, or, you know, your beef tenderloin's ready to go. So you don't really miss out on your day, and you're not really opening this oven door and closing this oven door. That's really what lags cooking time and kind of messes the ratio up. All JennAir wants you to do is put food in here, pop in the right settings, and close the door. Because every time we open this oven door, we lose 150, 175, even 200 degrees of heat. So keep the heat in, use your apps. Okay, let me get back out of here. Let me go through a couple of these other ones. So keep warm is another function on here. So this will turn into a warming drawer. We recommend around 175 degrees. Once you get up to the 185, 190, I feel like it's still cooking the food. So 175 is kind of where you want to be. You would hit start and you can turn this oven into a warming drawer. So all your fully cooked items can stay here while, you know, while everybody's waiting, so it doesn't get cold and you know it's at the right temperature. The fan speed will run so it doesn't dry anything out. It's an amazing setting. My Creations is another one, so this will hold all of your own personal recipes, okay? Up to 25 in each oven. So now you have 25 of your own recipes, whether it be Taco Tuesday or, you know, Mexican Monday, I don't know, whatever it is, you know, you can program it in here and, you know, type in exactly what it is. So now, you know, everybody in the house can benefit from, you know, your own personal recipe book. Really helps out that you're not running to a recipe card or, you know, Googling something or yada, yada, built right in your oven. We're gonna talk these two together, proof and rapid proof. Rapid proof's 110 degrees, proof is a little bit lower at 100. Rapid proofs for any extended yeast doughs or, you know, anything that needs to rise. So we're talking about pizza dough, we're talking about regular bread dough and things like that. Yeah, normally my grandparents would, you know, have a bowl and put a towel over it and have to keep it in a certain humidity in a warm spot in the kitchen. Now we can take a sheet tray, we can put our dough on it, we can proof it right in this oven so we can watch it double in size, then we can scale it and bake it. It really helps out, you know, for the bread baker or, you know, the pastry chef in the house. You know, it's just another outlet. Okay, next one is the last one on this list besides the Culinary Center is self-clean. So this is light, medium, and heavy. We recommend if you're gonna self-clean, use the light setting, okay? And all these racks right here will come out because the ball bearings, just see how they slide now? If we leave them in there, they will melt and they will tarnish and they will bend. So these won't look as fancy. We have another video on rack cleaning you guys can check out, but what you want to do is you want to take these racks out, you want to wipe the bottom of this, you know what I mean, and kind of get all the pieces up and run your self-clean setting. If you don't want to run your self-clean setting, I would suggest using a vinegar-based solution on here, whether it be Windex with vinegar, really cuts the grease out. A magic eraser kind of gets all through here. It's an all-sealed system, so you don't have to worry about it leaking onto the other, into anywhere. So it can be wiped out very nice and very easily. The only thing we have to worry about liquid in this oven, and it's gonna be the front of this door right here. So let's talk about this. See these little vents right here? This is the venting for the door. So there's 3 panes of glass in here. We don't wanna get any liquid on here or in here because it'll go in between the glasses, and that's where you get those streaks in your oven. So what I recommend, if you're doing a big clean, get a piece of that painter's tape, put it right across here, cover that venting so you know there's no liquid in here. Do your scrub down, do your clean, then remove it before cooking. So, it ensures that you're not getting any liquid in here, okay? Let me go back to the culinary center. So this is JennAir's built-in recipe, kind of catalog. It's all tried and true recipes on this machine. You can do anything from casseroles to vegetables to proteins and desserts as well, and seafood. So like even seafood, we highlight fish fillets, tuna steaks, swordfish steaks. It really walks you step by step through this. I touched on Thanksgiving turkey before, so I'm gonna go right to poultry and right to turkey, okay? So next, it'll ask me the select doneness, light, medium, or dark, and that's the skin tone. So look, if we go to light, you can see, you can go to dark if you like it a little bit darker. This really helps out. They'll adjust the fan speed for it. So let's go medium. Then it'll say, what pan are we using? This applies to the convection fan as well. Fan speed, things like that. If you're using a roasting pan, using a broiling pan, me, I don't like to do dishes. So there's a disposable pan option, which is amazing, okay? Next, it'll give us an overview of the optimized setting. What we're doing here is turkey. We're gonna do medium. Target probe is 170, so that's that probe again. So the probe's gonna really do it. It'll give us a quick synopsis of what's happening, show us our oven cavity, show us where we want it on the rack system right here. Then we'll scroll up and it'll even show us the exact turkey and where to pop our roast probe in. So really, JennAir's kind of supplying us with all the equipment we need to make this fabulous turkey. It's really give us a step-by-step guide. So, this in the culinary center is ideal when you're starting out, or, if you just need a refresher on how to use the oven, things like that. It's packed with a ton of recipes from top to bottom. And the best part is it really sets the right setting for you. So you really don't have to do any of the guesswork or, worry about using the wrong setting, kind of burning something or not getting the ideal product you want. That's what I love. So, this is one that you could really be beneficial from. Let me hit back again. I want to just go to the desserts, which I feel like are fun. Okay. So let's talk. Where are they? So baked goods. So it really is biscuits, breads, brownies, cakes, and cookies too. So you really see a lot. You know what I mean? Once again, plug and play, shiny baking sheets, dark baking sheets, insulated baking sheets. They really give you a full aspect of what you're gonna use, the ideal temp for you, time it out, and then you can really go with your day. Monitor on here, it's really gonna give you cooking tips. Look at that. So they really staggered 1, 2, and 5, just like we had it in the very beginning. So they really show you exactly what rack you need to put your cookies on for the very airflow and cooking setting. So I know that was a lot, but I hope you guys, you can watch this a few times, really get the idea of what JennAir is trying to do here to, kind of space out your oven, give you the most performance, give you the most product, and, make you cook like an amazing chef. So hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much.